Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast, your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of the Stuff and Things Podcast. It's Monday, it's Marvel Monday here on our show. I am Sam. Joining me to discuss Hawkeye, it's my partner in crime, it's Stefan.
Partners, I like what you did there.
Yeah.
That was good.
Thanks, I'm impressed.
Partners, some would say best friends, some would say no we're not. You know, it's one of those things.
No, we're not. Yeah. We're talking Hawkeye, we're talking Season 1, Episode 4, and the title of the episode.
Partners, am I right?
Yeah, am I right?
Apparently she wasn't.
So, there's a lot in this. There is a ton in this episode. It's episode 4 as well, so we're now deep into theory territory. And I've got one to kick us off straight away. I've got one. I spotted something, and then my mind started racing. And I've got a theory. I want to run it past you. You ready?
I'm ready for it.
I think the aunt, Kate's aunt, is going to be a character we know.
Okay.
Now, let me run this by you. So, we kind of have this weird thing where Kate just breaks into her aunt's place. She's in Florida for the winter, so we can use it. And then when Clint sat there this week, he's got a mug, and on the mug is branded as Thanos was right.
Yeah, we've seen this saying before now, so this is popping up more than once. And Marvel don't do anything by, that's coincidental.
No. So this was like a graffiti on a urinal, which me and you like, is this something, or is this just a little nod to the meme that went around or anything? But we've now seen it on a mug. So this is a branded product that someone out there is selling. And moreover, the person in this apartment that owns it has bought this mug.
Yeah, I quite want, in a bad way, I'm quite, looking online, I was like, I want a Thanos is right mug, that looks cool.
Shocking. But, yeah, Merry Christmas, dude. I've got a theory.
Okay.
I think her auntie is Valentina, the woman who's going around recruiting all the bad guys. In air quotes, bad guys.
Oh, damn. Okay.
She's wearing some kind of crazy-ass clothes in this apartment at one point, Kate, and kind of matches a bit of the wardrobe we've seen from this woman so far. There's a scene in this where, obviously, Hawkeye and Kate are at the apartment, and the mother basically kicks Clint out, and then makes a phone call to someone. Now, my initial thought on this was she's making a call very quickly to, the bad guy she's in league with. Because I'm a bit sus about the mother anyway.
Yeah, I think the mum's going to be a bad guy.
What if the mum's calling her sister, who's Valentina?
Ooh.
That
could be.
That's my theory. That is my theory. Because if she rang her sister... Valentina to say, hey, Hawkeye's at my place snooping around, then Valentina would be able to hand his location pretty quickly over to the Black Widow that was sent after him, and then, despite the fact been hunting him for a while, suddenly finds him on this particular night.
That is true. Oh.
So that is where my theory, that's why I've put 2 and 2 together and probably come up with 4,000, but That's the theory I wanted to run past you.
Oh, man, yeah, I hadn't gone that dark.
The dark. Well, it was like initially when I saw the scene where she makes the call, I thought, ooh, she's ringing Kingpin. She's in league with
I thought, the tracksuit mayor and that lot and the tracksuit gang and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we now find out that Jacques is in leagues with them anyway.
Well, he's the CEO of the company that's doing money laundering for him, but I can't make my mind up about this guy, and the reason why is because it's basically all arrows, pun intended, pointing at this guy to be the baddie, be a bit bad.
Yeah.
Which often makes me think they're trying to do that, and it is possible, because if you listen to how he speaks and what he says, he doesn't appear that bright. I know he's clearly a very accomplished swordsman and stuff, but he doesn't come across to me as being an uber intelligent.
Yeah.
It's infinitely possible.
Some of
he's
the
a
lines
patsy.
they come out with. Yeah.
You think about it, infinitely possible. He's been made CEO of this company, and basically he doesn't have a clue.
Yeah.
You know, this is just going on, and then if it all gets found out, it's him who goes to jail.
True.
Do you see what I mean? It just sort of comes across to me as like, this guy might be skilled with a sword, but I don't think his brain's the sharpest.
Yeah, see, I had a theory about him,
Yeah.
and I don't think my theory is correct anymore.
No, bring it on.
My theory about him was that actually it was him that killed Maya's dad.
Oh, wow, okay.
So he had, which is why he was so desperate to win the sword and the suit at the auction place, because he had already worn it, already wielded the sword.
Yeah.
He had already done some bad things dressed as Ronin and wanted it back.
Oh, okay.
Hence
That's
why he stole the sword.
Yeah.
And that was a kind of a theory I was going with maybe he is the bad guy, but maybe not in the sense that we think.
Yeah.
Maybe he has had the Ronin outfit at some point as well. But I'm now starting to think more like you with the case of, no, there's too many things. Like, there's basically neon arrowed signs going, bad guy. Which always makes me go,
Yeah, I mean, you basically just need him to twirl that moustache and go, "I'm a bad guy, see?" And you know, he's there. It's
and all of a
ridiculous.
sudden, we're all going to go, of course it's him. And then we're going to hear a bit of music and hear, it was Agatha. Oh, la la. And it will try us again, you know?
Yes,
So,
it was. Maybe he's Mephisto. Yeah.
do you know what? I haven't heard many Mephisto theories yet. So therefore, that tells me...
Yeah, it has to be me. It has to be. Yeah, completely. Do you reckon they're going to introduce Mephisto when people stop talking about him? Just the only problem they've got with that, if they do that, he's just going to shove people like, who cares? Big
Who's
whoop.
this guy? Who is this
We've been
guy?
expecting this guy for years now.
Yeah, talk about 8 years too late. Gee,
Yeah.
Phase 12. Mephisto.
Nobody cares. Yeah, nobody cares anymore. So the scene where they're sat at the table, Kate calls Clint CB1, which cracked me up, by the way.
Because his branding is still an issue.
Yeah, because branding, my favourite thing is she like says that branding. I'm just here with CB1. He's like, don't do that. Don't.
Yeah.
No, nobody calls me that. Yeah, we're working together. No, we're not. We're friends. No, we're not.
I loved it the whole way through the conversation. Now, I'll have another theory, which we'll talk on a bit later about the whole Hawkeye and Kate thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I have another thing, we'll go on to it later. But yeah, in this scene, it's very much a case of her being so hyper about, look what I've brought home.
Yeah.
And him sitting there going, oh, I've been caught.
Yeah, this is so embarrassing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm an Avenger. I'm not your friend. Come on.
He steals the sword back.
Very subtle.
By the way, I was like, when? How? What the?
Yeah.
The dude is good.
He sees it and then he walks out and he's got it. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, just took it and gone, which I loved, by the way. It was kind of badass. I've written down a note. It's like, is Kate's mother threatening him? I'm kind of like, question mark. I'm not sure. I'm kind of like, she doesn't seem phased by this world. She doesn't seem phased by stuff, but she does seem anxious that an Avenger is in her home. Not, oh my god, you're a hero, you saved New York. She's kind of anxious that an Avenger is there, like, holy crap, what does he know?
Yeah, the Jack seems more like, thank you, you saved us all, well done. She's more like, okay, you need to leave my daughter alone.
Yeah, so that again to me is like possibly a little bit of a steer towards her being the more villainous, and of course she makes that phone call. The next thing I want to talk about, and again I know this is not like running through the episode in order or anything.
Oh, in that case, wait, can I pause you just very quickly?
Yeah.
So she makes a comment at the door. Number one, she mentions Natasha. That's a bad move. As soon as she said that, I was like,
hang
you bitch.
on. What did I write?
You do not use that woman's name in vain. You do not use her name.
Here you go. Yeah, I wrote down mentions Nat. Damn, cold-blooded. Yeah.
And then she turns around and says, do you have kids? Of course you do, right?
Yeah, that's a good shout, yeah.
And I was like, okay, fair enough. That's just a throwaway line. Of course you got kids, you know. Yeah. She's saying it as a, you know, what would you think if your kids were doing this? You would be like, you know, oh dear sort of thing.
And then later we see that bit of paper with all his wife and kids' names written on it.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, is there a link there?
Yeah, no, that's a great shout, and it's well worth thinking about, because at the moment we're kind of not knowing who she called. You know, she could be calling Kingpin Maya, she could be involved with them, or like my theory is her sister Valentina.
Yeah.
But we don't know. You know, that's literally just me plucking that out of the air. So your theories holds more evidence. Mine is literally just, 1 and 1 equals 4,000, yay!
Well, mine only links together that and the list later on. But it doesn't link together anyone in the middle.
No, true. Yeah, well, but it's a good line to pick up on. Well done, man. Yeah, that's a good point. What I want to talk about is the Rolex. It was kind of a bit of a throwaway thing that me and you overlooked in episode 1, which is when those guys stormed the building, the tracksuit mafia, they weren't after the Ronin suit, and in my mind, that's why they were there.
Yeah.
But they weren't. They were after the Rolex. That is kind of a... You see what I mean? That's kind of like a big deal. It's like, well, why? What is so important about this watch? And we see that guy with it at the end, of the dogs going after him, and we see a situation now where it's at Maya's place. Maya has it. Yeah. And Clint has to get it back. But the reason he has to get it back is because Laura's talking about it, who, by the way, just breaks into another language. Was Laura an agent?
Laura's badass. I think that's what we need to just throw that one out there.
Are we establishing here that Laura has a past with S.H.I.E.L.D.? Laura was an agent of some sort?
Potentially. Because
up to this point, and please correct me if I'm wrong, we've kind of assumed Clint, agent, superhero, Laura, loving wife, family woman, and that's it. That's kind of like there's been no...
She may know everything, but she knows everything because she's loving wife, etc. We don't know that she knows everything because, you know, she's been out on missions with him and that's how they met or something. Yeah, and so I'm kind of... Because she knew Nat as well. Like I always remember the whole... He took the Avengers there as somewhere safe off the grid, and they were all just in shock that, you know, he's got a wife, he's got kids, what the hell? And then she's like, Natasha!
Yeah, and like Auntie Nat, and like, you know, talking to her like they're best friends. Now, we all know how close Clint and Nat were, so it stands to reason if anybody knew about them, it was her. But what if they all used to work together? I'm now just kind of like, the way she went into that other language, like it was just Spycraft 101. I'm like, this is mad. It was great, and literally she was like, talk Russian. So is this watch Laura's, or does it link to something that Laura was involved with? Because he's almost as obsessed with that as anything else. And he also says, I thought it was destroyed. Yeah, so whose could it have been, and why would it have needed to be destroyed? Yeah, because that was it's a question me and you have kind of got. The Ronin suit, when he put away that, you know, that whole lifestyle, if you like, surely the smart thing would have been to destroy it. But it would appear that they locked it up at Avengers Tower, and now Avengers Tower... all this stuff has appeared in the black market, including this Rolex. Yep. So yeah, it's kind of bizarre. I don't know. There's got to be a bit more information coming on that, don't you think? I'm assuming so. Like, I've started going through, like, does Clint Barton have a brother or something, or another family member? Because originally he was saying about he's got sentimental value to him. And then I'm like, okay, sentimental, so it could be a family member's or something like that, maybe. Does he have a brother that was also an agent who's died in the field and that was his watch? And then he's like, yeah, where's the tracking beacon showing it? And I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm just like, what is... I don't know, man. I'm just kind of... But Laura, I want to know more about Laura now. I want to know what this means. I want to know if this links to her, and like, would people be able to go after her? Because... when Kate goes into the apartment and they're looking for where this watch is, and she finds next to the watch a list of his name, Laura's name, the kids' names. Yeah. That's messed up. That's like, whoa, that's, you know, that's taking this to a whole other level. Yeah, it's a case of why. Why do you need all those names written? What are your plans? Yeah. What are your plans?
towards it. It's a strange one.
Well, yeah,
and if she is an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they go and try and take her down, they're going to be in for it.
Oh, big time. But it's like they've got... I mean, it's not like here's an address written down, but still... I mean, don't get me wrong, he's out in New York with his kids. You know, anyone could see him and stand nearby and pick up the names and stuff like that. But her name as well, I don't know. It just... Also, with it being sat next to the watch, it kind of feels like it was almost meant to be found next to it, like a threat. Like, someone's going to come for this watch, and when they do, I want them to know I know who their family is. Do you know what I mean? Because it's kind of like she was there, she was ready.
That was cool as well, with the not knowing what the alarm system was. I like that. Yeah, that was very cool. We'll come on to the kind of epic fight scene at the end, because you know that was the end, and obviously there's kind of a big factor to that which I want to talk about. But I want to kind of focus in on a couple of other bits, really. You mentioned it a little bit earlier. We were talking about Jack. Laura does some digging. Yep. So again, she obviously has some skills. She's helping Clint, and she discovers that Jack is the CEO of the company Munner and Lundy for the big guy. Yeah. Well, that's got to be Fisk. Surely.
You know,
even just calling him the big guy, everyone must be down there.
If you're going to reference someone, it's got to be Fisk. I mean, without a doubt. So it's going to be Fisk, and we got 2 episodes left. I can't make my mind up. I mean, he's either going to appear straight away in the next episode, and then we got 2 episodes of him being a major part of it, or he's going to appear right at the end of the next episode, leaving us just the finale with Kingpin involved.
Or is it going to be a case of right at the very, very end? Yeah. End credit scene of...
And it sets up
end credit
else.
Scene. You know how we have the end credit scene of Thanos going, fine, I'll do it myself.
Oh, yeah, true, yeah.
There's just going to be Fisk sat at a desk going, oh, I'll do it myself. And everyone will go, what?
You're not, If that's the lines, and he's made all his money selling Thanos was right merchandise. What?
Yeah.
How did this guy get rich? Oh, he copyrighted Thanos was right and just made a fortune.
See that mug over there? This guy.
This guy. Okay, well, parking that idea to one side because that would be hilarious, by the way. I'm CEO of Thanos Was Right Incorporated. So Wilson Fisk, I don't know. I think he's going to show up in the next episode. There's 2 episodes left. I think he's going to show up. I think he has to. But then again, I saw the preview for the next episode, and basically it's only got Yelena featured in the preview. Not that they'd obviously show him because they want it to be a surprise, but...
I've not seen the preview for the next episode yet.
Okay, so it's like 15 seconds. It's like blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Yelena, it looks like Yelena shows up to talk to, I think, Kate, and Kate throws something at her and she catches it and just goes, hello, like Yelena would. So that's good. So, but there's a scene I want to focus in on. I want to focus in on the scene where Kate listens to her mum talking about Christmas and family.
Yep.
And realises that Clint's on his own. All he wants is to be with his family this Christmas.
Yeah.
But because of her, he is... I mean, she's taken it on herself. I mean, the reality is there appears to be other things like this watch, which is now keeping him there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, she's taken it upon herself. And she shows up. Pizza, festive cheer, movies, Christmas jumpers.
Yeah, it's movie marathon night, right? Well, I got movies.
How much... I don't know about you, man, but I sat there really smiling during all the scenes of them, like, really being happy together. Like, it's a bit like a montage almost. Just,
the coin
doing the
flip
tree.
And stuff.
The coin flip.
You can't flick a coin round the corner.
Oh my god! He just does that. I know he hasn't really done this. I know this.
No, I believe it. I believe that Jeremy Renner has been there practicing this.
But just the way he does it, I don't know. Again, I'm like, this is great. This is just joy. I am grinning like an idiot, enjoying these scenes because the chemistry with these two is phenomenal.
Yeah,
like the interaction, these two could have a buddy cop movie. Do you know what I mean? And I'd watch it, grinning, start to finish. It is really good, and they've really got it nailed. And like, because she's talking to him about different things, and he's teaching her. he's saying, oh, you do this. Oh, well, to do this, you have to do that. And she's like really into it and she's really talking. But then for all the joy of all of that, we then get what I've written down here, Jeremy Renner, sometimes I forget, the guy's a really good actor.
Yeah.
And the reason why I've written that is because for all the fun and everything in these scenes, which is completely believable and joyful, that she then just like an innocuous kind of question, like, oh, what's the best shot you've ever taken?
And
he
boom,
answers,
the whole scene changes.
Yeah, but he answers on instinct. Oh, the best shot I ever took was the one I didn't take. And then when she goes, oh, what do you mean? It's like, oh, wow, yeah, to forget I said it. Because he knows,
just open a can of worms there.
Yeah, because he knows if he has to talk about that, he has to talk about that. And like he answered on instinct because that's clearly the answer. That is clearly the absolute factual answer that he's got. But he says that to her, and he says, it's the best shot I ever took was the one I didn't take. And I think that's kind of a key thing in this episode. And the reason why I think it's a key thing is because later on she has a very clear shot at Yelena. Doesn't take it. And what we're talking about here is Clint, when he first met Nat, was sent to kill her.
Yeah.
And he had the shot to kill her. And he looked at her, and he didn't. And they became just like the best friends of Black Widow and, him. And then we've got a situation where, everyone knows really, Kate, who is looks like she's going to be taking the Hawkeye mantle. And you've got Yelena, who's basically taking the Black Widow mantle. And she looks at her.
I love that scene. Shot. Just a little shake of the head, like, don't do it.
Yeah, I love that scene as well. I love that scene because my initial thought is around this don't take the shot thing, but there's also an element of Yelena's got a look on her face of like, if you fire that arrow, I'm going to shove it up your ass.
Yeah, I will mess you.
Yeah. I will not be impressed if you shoot me with that. But yeah, like I said, we're going to come on to that. But that scene where he then talks about Nat, man. How were you feeling watching that? Because it hit me. I was like, whoa.
Well, I didn't realise hay fever was a thing in December.
Yeah. Dusty house, is it? Man?
Yeah, man. It was like, the way he's talking about it and stuff, you're like, oh, this is Clint kind of getting it out of his system and talking about Nat for the first time we've seen since Endgame and stuff. And it's like, you can see it's ripping him apart.
And and you had that, and he talks about it and he really opens up about it. And like I said, and I wrote this down, I forget the guy's a really good actor, and he is, because that scene took from this joyful conversation, really happy, and then smack into this, and he clams up and he's like, and he says to Kate, and again, really heartfelt, thank you for what you did here, thanks for coming and doing this.
Yeah.
Which was great, by the way. I really like that. But then again, we've had this where he's opened up.
Yep.
And later on, we'll talk about it now. They go to this apartment. He is on. By the way, how funny was it when they were both fighting people and they both thought they were fighting the same person?
Maya's here. Yeah, I know. She's kicking my ass. Wait, what?
Yeah. What? No, I'm fighting her. No, I'm fighting her. No, trust me.
I'm
looking at her. Yeah. I am. But then who the hell am I fighting? Was fighting. He obviously works out who the hell he's fighting as a Black Widow pretty quickly once he starts seeing the skill set.
I think it was the landing. Without the hair toss. I was like,
I was about to say to you, and I know I've already messaged you on this, and I wish I hadn't, because I wish I'd saved it for the show, but I was sort of thinking it might have been a bit of a fake out where this isn't going to be Yelena, but all of us are thinking it's going to be Yelena. It's just going to be some random assassin sent out. It's going to be like, oh! But then the landing, she hit something and she did a backflip and landed. I was like, oh my god, she's just done Nat's landing. Mm-hmm. The only reason she hadn't flipped the hair is because she's wearing that mask.
Yeah, I watched her do the hair flick, and then I turned to my wife and was like staring at her. I was like, come on, say it. Yeah, you know who it is. She didn't say it. I was like,
Yeah. No, I don't think your wife's as invested as we are.
No, possibly not.
Yeah.
But then as soon as she took the mask off and you saw the blonde hair, she was like, oh, it's her sister. I was like, thank you. You saved yourself. Thank yourself.
Finally.
Okay, there it is.
I know my daughter's going to mark out to that scene, and I can't wait to watch it with her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's watched 2 episodes so far. We got 3 and 4 to watch this weekend. I know when she sees that. Oh, mate, she loves Yelena. Like, Yelena's now her favourite. And the
really?
funny thing is, well, Iron Man was her favourite, and when Iron Man died in Endgame, she was a mess.
I know that feeling.
He clicked his fingers, and I watched her just burst into tears, and she basically didn't stop crying then until after the credits. She was gone. And then there was a scene in the next Spider-Man film where a zombie Iron Man came after him, and she again just burst into tears. Yeah, my daughter loved Iron Man.
I'm so glad that I have the same emotional range as a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah. No comment on that. I wasn't going to say that, but now you've brought it up.
The problem is I can't even lie about it because I was sat in the cinema of Endgame next to my stepdad and his best mate. And I ugly cried. Like, I proper ugly girl cried at it.
Man,
and there's nothing I can say to say I didn't do it, because every time I say no I don't, I can literally hear my stepdad going, you should have seen his face. I'm like, okay. Yeah, there's no point lying about it anymore. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. That's. I think what you should learn from this experience is choose who you go to the cinema with carefully for films.
Yeah.
Any hint there's going to be some emotion, you pick someone.
Yeah,
else.
I'm going to the new Spider-Man film on my own. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've booked out all 12 seats around me just in case. Yeah. No one's going to see me cry.
No, I like that. That's a good COVID precaution, if nothing else.
Yes.
Yeah, I spent £400 going to the cinema. What did you do? I rented the whole screen.
Yeah, it was me. Just me.
It was me with my feet up and a lot of popcorn. But yeah, so we have this fight scene. Kate kind of holds her own again, but Maya's, I think, that little bit better. But she does shoot her with an arrow.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. I generally wasn't expecting her to go for it, and she did. She nailed her in the arm, and Maya just kind of looked at her.
Just like Hawkeye, shoulder shots.
Yeah.
Not kill shots, shoulder shots.
Yeah, and that's
wound
the hero,
and worn.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the hero thing, whereas Ronan was just slice and dice death. Hawkeye and Kate. But yeah, I mean, I've kind of just brushed over a kind of major thing here, but I am going to come back to it. But the fight scene was epic. It was absolutely epic. I loved it, and the drama of when she became unmasked, the kind of the music playing, that was fantastic. And Yelena goes, but prior to that, there's a minute where Yelena fights Kate and throws Kate off of a building. But before she throws her, she hooks her in.
Yeah.
So Yelena's making sure that Kate doesn't get hurt. She's literally making sure she's out of the fight, but isn't hurt.
Yeah.
So, 2 points to this. One, is that because Yelena has a conscience now, she's no longer under mind control, she's there to kill Clint, nobody else?
Mm-hmm.
Or two, is it because her boss Valentina said, my niece is going to be there, look after her?
Oh, you like this theory. You're going to go with this,
I don't know.
Just remember how
I could be
invested
reaching.
you got. Remember how invested you got on everything being Mephisto in Wanda. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean...
You had me convinced. I was ready to put a mortgage down on the fact that he was going to be the bad guy. You had me convinced.
And again, I'm sorry for your home being repossessed. I'm sorry. Yeah, I said I'd pay you back. I don't know. It's one of those things where you kind of spot something and then your mind races. Yeah. And I want to put it out there because I've not seen anyone talking about it. Not yet, anyway. But I've not looked a lot because I tend to get
exclusive. Yeah,
I tend to get kind of annoyed when I'm like, oh wow, I've spotted this, and then I realise the whole world's already talking about it. Oh, never mind. Clearly, it was bloody obvious.
Yeah. See, my theory is slightly different to yours.
It is.
See, Maya and Yelena both had opportunities in that fight to kill either of them.
And vice versa. And
no one goes for a killing blow at all.
Do you not think that Yelena did that? I mean, she tried to literally electric shock his throat.
Yeah, but again,
that could have been trying to kill him, and then he fought her off.
But then she also electric shocked Maya. Two shots to the chest, and she's just able to kind of pull them off and throw them away. So I think they're more like an incapacity thing than a kill. And I'm wondering, and I'm like, I wonder if Yelena is going to kill him, or if Yelena is like, I want to know what happened to my sister. I am being told you killed her, but you're an Avenger, and I know, like, surely her and Natasha would have spoken about him at some point in their bit of time together.
I'd like to think so, but we kind of saw their time together, and she didn't talk about anybody.
True. But I like... my theory at the moment is that actually Yelena is after information, not blood.
Yeah.
She is trying to get from Clint what happened to my sister.
I will tell you in the preview, which, by the way, doesn't mean you're wrong. Okay. In the preview, there's literally a line that says, "I'm here to kill Clint Barton."
Oh, okay. Ignore that then.
But no, it doesn't mean you're wrong, because context is so key, and with previews and trailers, we know Marvel are very tricksy hobbits.
Marvel showed the Hulk running through the forest in Endgame, and that never happened, so yeah.
No, yeah, there's loads of stuff that, you know, it's kind of like,
That was Infinity War, wasn't it? The trailer for Infinity War, him running along. Hulk's not in Infinity War. He gets a crap beating out of him and doesn't show up again. Marvel lie.
They lie. They lie to us all the time. They showed Thor was skinny in the trailer, and he's a chunky monkey in that film.
Yeah.
But yeah, so keep an eye. I'm not entirely sure on that. But I think your theory could hold more weight.
I don't think Maya wants to kill Clint, because Maya wants to kill Ronin, and she doesn't know yet that he is Ronin.
Yeah, but also with that aspect to it, she has the list of his family. Why is she focusing in on Clint? Is it she's hoping to leverage his family to find out who Ronin is?
Yeah, I think she believes that he is well attached to Ronin.
Yeah.
So therefore, if I get to him, I get to Ronin.
Yeah.
No, if I hold Clint and his family hostage, then Ronin's going to turn up to save him.
Yeah.
Could be a long wait.
Shout. It's a very good show. What if I did think about this as well with the Rolex thing? What if perhaps, you know, Laura's obviously concerned about it. Barton says, you know, this ties to somebody and it would reveal their identity and stuff like that. What if it was his as Ronin? That's why Laura's worried about it. That's what he's talking about. I don't know. Again, that's just literally just occurred to me. That's again just
the watch on the underside is engraved to Ronin from Clint. No,
to Ronin, lots of love, Laura.
Yeah,
yeah. Thanks for cleaning up our streets. So the final thing I want to talk about from the episode, and obviously if I've missed anything, then you can dive in. Is me and you talked a lot about over episodes 1, 2, and 3 how we felt Kate would react to learning that he was Ronin.
Apparently, water off a duck's back.
One of the things me and you didn't really account for is that scene where he is pouring his heart out.
Yeah.
And in that scene, she realises. Like, in that scene, she comes to the complete realisation that this guy lost his best friend, lost his family, and that means everything to him.
Yeah.
And it's like a light bulb goes off. Now, I don't know about you, but like for me, like you said, the water off a duck's back thing, that, in every sense of the thing, should annoy me. Like, I should be annoyed that there isn't a bigger reaction to this. I'm like,
because he's your hero, for goodness sake.
Yeah, she's hero worshipped him. But in that moment, man, it was perfect. It was, like, absolutely perfect. In that moment, he wasn't Hawkeye. He was Clint. And she just...
It was almost like oh my God, you were him.
Yeah.
It makes sense now.
It all makes sense. And she's looking at him like... I can't, you know, I don't believe it. And he says, you know, because he said things to her like, I'm not a hero, I'm not a role model, I'm not this. And like I say, like the light bulb moment, she was just looking at him like, wow, you were broken. And she's like, we all make mistakes, we all do things. And he's kind of looking at her like, please don't be nice to me about this. You know, I'm a bad guy.
Yeah, go to bed now.
and that's how it kind of ends, doesn't it? Like he can't open up. You know, he's opened up a bit about Nat, but it's like I need to shut down again, which I think a lot of guys can kind of feel deep in their soul, probably. But he's laying it out in a kind of superhero thing. I want to a big shout out to seeing the LARPers again.
I feel like these guys are going to have more of a bit in this than you realise.
Yeah, I'm expecting a 6-episode miniseries next year called The LARPers of New York.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
And I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. Can you imagine all the LARPers are going to turn up dressed as Ronin in episode 6 to really throw the scent off everyone? We are Ronin! Wait a minute. I've seen this before.
Initially you've seen the LARPers, and it was a throwaway scene, a joyful, happy, funny scene that tied in nicely and was done. The fact that they've now brought them back in again, I just smiled. Kate walking up to them in the park going, "Woo, you guys are intense."
Yeah.
Just like, yeah. And I'm just like laughing my head off.
What do you want? I want the arrows back. Okay, you can do us a favour. And you're like, oh God, what's she going to do? Oh, she's now going to make costumes for them.
Yeah, and like she's like, "Oh, this is going to help with your branding," and his face, he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" She's like, "Oh," and she says to him like, "Oh, you got to make this up to me, got to make this right." He's like, "What have you agreed to?
Yeah,
what have you done?" And the woman with her bag, "My wife gave me this bag," and he's like, It's a nice bag. And she's like, yeah. He's like, and Kate, he'll bring it back. And Clint's like, I can't believe this is my life.
Yeah.
I cannot believe this is my life.
I'm now borrowing duffel bags from police officers. What is going on?
It's just hilarious. How many times in the first 4 episodes has Clint basically pulled a face of, oh, what the is going on? Why am I here? You didn't
bring your own bag?
Yeah.
No. Was I meant to?
Yeah, it's just like the first Phoebe watched, my daughter watched the scene where he was LARPing with them, and she busted out laughing at him standing there with the armor on and the fake sword and just,
fine, yeah.
And they're all like swinging at him, and he just takes them all out like swift movement. And the guy says to him, "Oh, come on, you had fun, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, take these back. I don't want that showing up on my credit card statement." And he's like, "Oh yeah, they will charge you."
Yeah. I can imagine the phone call from his wife. "I thought you said you were busy." "I am." "What, LARPing?" Yeah. No, honestly.
You've been LARPing around in New York City, and just like Hawkeye, it's like name, and he's like, "No, thank you."
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, I now desperately want to go to New York just to go to Central Park and find LARPers.
Yeah,
this is now a thing on my bucket list.
Yeah, add that to our US tour when we head there for the podcast. But yeah, man, I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. I mean, the main thing I want to kind of say at the end is the thing with Clint Barton is you get to see again in this episode when he's icing his injuries is a real person with real injuries.
I loved it. The frozen cocktails out the freezer, duct taped to himself. Oh, it cracked me up.
Yeah, and he's like led there basically, ow.
And then the door goes.
Yeah, and you'd seen it earlier with the supplies, he just needs ibuprofen. Also in Black Widow, Yelena says that, I don't think the big guy needs to take an ibuprofen after a fight.
Yeah.
So we're getting a more realistic view of what it's like, or what it was like for Nat and what it is like for Clint to be involved in this kind of thing, which is like everything hurts. But don't you think that kind of does a parallel? And I know I've mentioned this already because I feel like it runs a parallel with the Daredevil show on Netflix. Because Matt Murdock used to beat the crap out of people, but was regularly beat the crap out of himself.
The amount of times he turned up at poor Claire's door like, "Hey, can't go to hospital, but could really do some stitches."
Yeah. So basically, this arm stopped working. It appears to be because of this knife that's shoved through it. Yeah. This leg appears to be broken. So get working.
Yeah, I need you to take you to the hospital. No. Your living room couch is fine.
Yeah, poor Claire.
Yeah.
How many times did she have to replace a rug in her place?
Oh God.
But don't you feel there's like a little bit kind of like a parallel there where a reality base? This is on the streets of New York, like that was. They're real people fighting, not super powered gods with suits or anything. It's just there's that basis to it where you could almost imagine, Matt Murdock showing up in the next 2 episodes, but. Yeah, that's probably too much for me to hope for.
Yeah, we've seen like Captain America get the crap beaten out of him, and he's always getting back up. And Iron Man protected by the suit. Thor's a god.
Yeah.
Hawkeye is just like, give me a frozen margarita. What's it for? My elbow.
The only thing that got to 4 and all the fights and everything we've seen was about 400 barrels of beer. It would appear that's the only thing that does any damage to Thor.
Yes.
So like beer and pizza was what took down the God of Thunder.
Yeah.
The rest of it. But as for violence and stuff, no, pretty much unscathed. He's all good. He even got his eyeball back.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm loving this show, man. I said this to you yesterday that of all the shows we've watched so far, which I have enjoyed, this is probably my favourite so far.
This one up there is up there with Wanda. Wanda's my favourite because it was just so wacky.
Yeah.
And this is right up there with it. Like, they've got 2 episodes left to completely screw it up, but I just don't believe Marvel will.
No, I don't think they will. I think this is... Every episode has been better than the last, and it started at a very high bar.
Yeah.
So I'm loving it. And also, I'm loving the episodic feel to it of, where's the next one? You know, because every episode ends with just what the hell?
Yeah.
Come on. But the Yelena reveal, I cannot wait for my daughter to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, she is going to lose her mind. Have you seen Florence Pugh about this, by the way?
No.
So Florence Pugh went on Instagram Live when the episode aired and did a live reaction to Yelena reveal. Like, oh my god, look who it is! but then the next day posted some set pictures and was like, amazing to be part of Hawkeye, so proud to make this appearance and continue the character of Yelena in the MCU. And people complained to Instagram as it was a spoiler, and Instagram removed her post, and she now cannot post anything about Hawkeye. They banned her from posting about Hawkeye.
No way.
So she did another post okay, so basically Instagram have stopped me from posting a picture of me talking about a TV show that I am in because people have complained. Thanks a bunch.
Brilliant.
Great.
Yeah. This is why we can't have nice things.
This is why we can't have nice things, because people are dicks.
Yeah.
But I love Florence Pugh. I mean, she's brilliant. She's dating Zach Braff, which I still find crazy.
No way.
Yeah, they've been together a while now. But yeah, I still find that crazy. But yeah, she's brilliant. Everything I've seen her in, I've liked her. But this, Yelena...
She brings a real fun element to a very serious character.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm an ice-cold assassin. Ugh, what a pose. Ugh.
Yeah. That you're such a poser.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And she's nailed the accent, which makes it even better. Take note, Ray Winston.
But I generally don't think... She didn't actually say a word in this episode of Hawkeye, did she?
No, she doesn't say
Doesn't say a word, but everything about her is like,
stole the show, man. That reveal where the mask comes off and she turns around and looks straight at Kate and does that, nope.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my god, that was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, the episode does end with Hawkeye Clint basically telling Kate to get lost.
Yeah, the nicest way of telling someone to fuck them off. Yeah.
Yeah. Never gonna happen.
Yeah, like she has his phone number.
Man, I'm so glad we kept talking. I realised I've missed something massive.
Oh, okay.
So Yelena throws Kate off the building, as we know, but catches her, literally latches her on. When Clint looks over the edge and sees her like that, he has a flashback to seeing Nat go over the edge, and the music changes to the Avengers.
It's the same music as what she fell off the cliff to.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was heartstrings being tugged at that point.
Yeah.
And even the fact of she's stuck in midair, but she's even falling the same way that
it was like
she
it
went.
was like a freeze frame, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like a freeze frame moment.
I was like, wow.
Because when you think about it, we've just seen him open up, and we're pretty all aware that this guy's basically suffering from PTSD because of this.
Yep.
To see that was wow.
Now, this ties in perfectly to my other little theory I've had.
Yeah, go on.
So, one of the reasons I think he doesn't want Kate around as such is number one is obviously the Natasha link. He was very close to Natasha. Natasha died.
Yeah.
He calls her kid in this episode, I think twice.
Yeah.
The last person he called kid to was Pietro.
You're
the young, over the cocky, overconfident, over friendly. There's a lot of similarities between that Pietro character and Kate Bishop.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. He's kind of...
And I'm wondering if there's a little bit of that. He was like, no, wait a minute. The last over cocky, confident kid I was with was the worst MCU version of Quicksilver there could be. Yeah.
See, yeah, I know what you mean by that, but I thought I don't blame the actor for that.
No, I don't blame the actor at all. I blame the writing of that was horrific.
there's a lot of scenes where he's brilliant. Like when he runs into that police station and then he runs back like, "Get off your fat asses!"
Yeah, the actor was brilliant. The writing of Age of Ultron's Quicksilver was appalling.
There's a lot wrong with that film, so let's just leave it.
But I do wonder if there's a link there between he's seeing the last kid was the one that died to save him. I think Natasha, and I'm
I think you're right. I think you're right, man. I think Clint is carrying some serious issues.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things I'm liking about these shows is the films show him as this incredible hero, but now we're learning more about Clint Barton, not Hawkeye. And Clint Barton is carrying around scars internally more than he is anything else. And
he's
that's
had
right.
2 people die to save him.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, that's not...
And people seem to forget. I think people forget about Age of Ultron and that Pietro died taking the bullets for Hawkeye.
Yeah, you didn't see that coming, did you?
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. All right, man. That's it. That's episode 4. No, I enjoyed that. And I'm enjoying this show a lot. We'll be back next Monday. Thank you to everybody who's listening. We appreciate every single last one of you. Episode 3 was our highest listened to show of the last 6 months. So thank you to everybody. Hopefully episode 4 will be on the same track, otherwise it means you all hated it. Which sucks.
Yeah, you all listened and didn't come back.
Yeah, that hurts. But yeah, a big thank you everybody. A big thank you to everybody who interacts as well. A little bit of admin for the show. There will be a Christmas special this year. The Christmas special will go live on Christmas Eve, so it'll be available Christmas Eve to listen to. We're basically going to talk about our favourite Christmas movies. That's going to be the Christmas special.
Yep.
At the moment, it's just me and you, but I am trying to schedule a guest appearance from the Alfie Omega to join us.
Hey.
But yeah, he's big, he's beardy, and it's the time of year he's very busy. So we'll keep that to one side.
Santa Alf, yeah.
We also have the Walking Dead World Beyond episode coming very soon, and Fear the Walking Dead Season 7 Part A recap coming very soon. So if you're a Walking Dead fan and you listen to our Walking Dead universe shows, those will be coming very soon. Keep an eye on the Facebook page to announce that.
Yep.
Until next Monday, though, my friend, you take care.
We are out.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.